Hi, I'm Todd Moore. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today to learn about healthy buildings in an age of pandemics. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the absenteeism rate for full-time wage and salary workers in the U.S. is 2.8%. Now, absenteeism is unplanned time off, not vacations, and we usually attribute that to people being sick. This means that on average, more than a week of productivity is lost for every employee. It's my fear that the office environment itself is contributing to people becoming sick. While you probably aren't a big fan of turbulence when you fly, those of us in the HVAC industry use big fans to create turbulence. For us, turbulence is a great way to make the indoor space comfortable. The thinking for the last 35 years has been that air movement and air mixing lead to comfort. We have utilized turbulence to dilute contaminants and keep temperatures uniform throughout indoor spaces. We did this by providing cool, clean air at the ceiling and mixing it with room air that reaches the occupants. It's a lot like taking a vat of dirty water and adding clean water to it, hoping to dilute the dirty water. And that's how we've been air conditioning buildings for 35 years. What if we could take the dirty air, in this case dirty water, and remove it from the space and leave the occupant only in the clean air zone? Would that be possible to do? Turns out it is possible. Each of us has our own little mini chimney. We tend to be about 20 degrees warmer than the space. We're usually around 98 degrees. The space is usually cooler than 78 degrees. That 20-degree delta creates a plume that each of us lives within. And so the particles, including virus particles that we exhale, tend to rise to the ceiling. And so the system that I showed you in the previous slide, the turbulent air system, does a really good job of moving those viruses around the space and sharing them among occupants. We didn't know that. For the last 35 years, we've been concentrating on making buildings comfortable. We didn't know we could also be contributing to making them unhealthy. Wouldn't it be better if we could do something like this? Take air from under the floor, bring it through the occupied space and up through the ceiling, and take the contaminants out of the space with the airflow. Turns out you can do that, and we've been doing it for a number of years for lots of reasons, health being just one of them. And you typically see it in showcase projects, including the Orlando Utility Commission building in downtown Orlando. But around the world, you see showcase projects with underfloor air distribution. If you were to go to Cairo and tour the new Egyptian museum there, you would see underfloor. You can see it being installed here. It's keeping King Tut cool. And it's also saving a lot of energy. With the underfloor system, you don't have to cool the entire space. We just have to cool about the first 6 feet in the space that are occupied. But it's also in every type of building that you could ever be in. It's in cafeterias and libraries and office buildings. I guarantee you've walked on it and not even known that you were on it. You can have any floor finish you want, carpet, tile, wood, and so you wouldn't even necessarily know you were on a raised floor. In fact, if you've been in a casino that's been built within the last 10 years, you were probably on a raised floor. Smoking casinos switched to raised floors about 10 years ago when they realized that they just do such a wonderful job of removing smoke particles from the space. You could sit next to this lady smoking her slot machine, and in all probability, you would not smell the smoke sitting right next to her. That's because these systems are designed to move particulates up and away from the space, and they do a really good job of doing that. Here's what a typical system looks like. This is an air fixture air handling unit. It's specifically designed to take air and inject it into the floor. A standard air handler makes 55-degree air, and that's too cold for floor disbursement. This unit makes 65-degree air by blending in some return air into the cool discharge air. And it's perfectly designed for this type of system. But if you're like me, you're probably wondering, does it cost more to go underfloor? Not really. Turns out it's about a wash. How can that be? Well, one thing is you don't need any duct work. All that cost goes away. The other thing that might not seem obvious at first is you can make the building actually shorter. By putting the ductwork and using the floor as a plenum, instead of having ductwork in the ceiling, you can actually lower the ceiling height quite a bit and still have 10 foot within the occupied space. So a lot of people think, oh, I don't want underfloor, my building's going to get too big. It actually makes your building smaller. What we're showing on the far right here is a 7-story building in the height of what would normally be a 6-story building. And so we can now classify a 7-story building as low rise in certain jurisdictions where we couldn't do that before. Overall, the cost is about neutral from a conventional system to an underfloor system, and you get all the benefits of an underfloor system for free. So please call me if you have any questions. We're the reps for Air Fixture in Orlando. My name is Todd Moore, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching this video.